You're listening to the CyberWire Network, powered by N2K.
Attention all security professionals. Want real-time IP intelligence at your fingertips? Sign up for Scout Insight's free trial today. Get immediate insights into threats, search any IP with no training required, and enjoy intuitive graphical results. Whether you need to identify compromised hosts or enrich Splunk queries, Scout Insight has you covered. Don't wait. Accelerate your threat response now. Visit teamcumry.com/cyberwire to start your free trial. Cisco has identified a critical security flaw in its SSM On-Prem. The world's largest recreational boat and yacht retailer reports a data breach. The UK's NHS warns of critically low blood stocks after a ransomware attack. Port Shadow enables VPN person-in-the-middle attacks. Ivanti patches several high-severity vulnerabilities. Fin7 is advertising a security evasion tool on underground forums. Indian crypto exchange WazirX sees $230 million in assets suspiciously transferred. Wiz documents vulnerabilities in SAP AI Core. A DDoS for hire team faces jail time. Our guest is Tomislav Pericin, founder and chief software architect at ReversingLabs. We're discussing free resources to conduct risk assessments on open source software. And playing red light, green light with traffic light controllers. It's Thursday, July 18th, 2024. I'm Dave Bittner, and this is your CyberWire Intel Briefing. Thanks for joining us here today. It is great to have you with us. Cisco has identified a critical security flaw in its Smart Software Manager On-Prem, that's SSM On-Prem, scoring a perfect 10.0 on the CVSS scale. Announced on July 17th, this vulnerability allows attackers to change any user's password, including administrators, without needing to log in. The flaw is due to the improper implementation of the password change process, exploitable via specially crafted HTTP requests. SSM On-Prem is used for managing software licenses within local network environments. This vulnerability could enable attackers to gain full control over the system, leading to potential disruptions and data theft. Although primarily used in local networks, poor remote access security or a compromised internal network increases exploitation risks. Cisco has no workarounds for this issue, and the only remedy is applying the latest updates. Cisco confirmed no known malicious use of this vulnerability at the time of disclosure, and it was promptly addressed following a report by security researcher Mohammed Adel. MarineMax, the world's largest recreational boat and yacht retailer, is notifying over 123,000 individuals about a security breach in March, claimed by the Ricida ransomware gang. The breach compromised personal information, which MarineMax initially denied but later confirmed. The Florida-based company, operating over 130 locations worldwide, reported $2.39 billion in revenue last year. The attackers accessed MarineMax's systems from March 1st through March 10th of this year and stole personal data, including names and identifiers. The breach was detected on March 10th, and an investigation confirmed data exfiltration. Ricida published a 225-gigabyte archive of stolen data, including financial documents and IDs, on their dark web site. This gang has previously targeted high-profile entities, including the Chilean Army and the British Library. The recent ransomware attack on several London hospitals has put UK national blood stocks in a very fragile position. NHS chief executives warned that blood supplies might move to Amber Alert status, restricting transfusions to the most critical cases. The attacker on Synovis, a pathology services provider, disrupted blood matching tests, depleting universal donor stocks and affecting blood banks nationwide. Affected hospitals are performing blood matching at about 54% of their usual capacity, with O-negative stocks critically low. NHS London declared a regional incident, postponing over 6,000 outpatient appointments and 1,400 surgeries, including cancer treatments. The Quillin ransomware gang is blamed for the attack, with disruptions expected to last until September. Researchers from Arizona State University, University of New Mexico, University of Michigan, and the University of Toronto's Citizen Lab have identified a vulnerability in VPNs that enables person-in-the-middle attacks. Named Port Shadow, this technique allows attackers to intercept and redirect traffic by exploiting a shared resource called a port on VPN servers. The vulnerability affects OpenVPN, WireGuard, and OpenConnect on Linux and FreeBSD, though FreeBSD is less vulnerable. Port Shadow enables attackers to shadow their own information on a victim's port, acting as an in-path router to intercept encrypted traffic, de-anonymize VPN peers, and conduct port scans. While VPN software developers were informed, mitigation involves specific firewall rules rather than code fixes. The best protection for users is connecting to a private VPN server. Shadow socks and Tor remain unaffected. Ivanti has announced patches for several high-severity vulnerabilities in Endpoint Manager and Endpoint Manager for mobile. The most critical is an SQL injection flaw with a CVSS score of 8.4, affecting EPM 2024 flat. Authenticated attackers with network access could exploit it to execute arbitrary code. A hotfix is available, with security updates forthcoming. No known exploitation of this vulnerability has occurred. Additionally, patches for 4 vulnerabilities in EPMM have been released. 3 high-severity flaws enable command execution and authentication bypass. A medium-severity improper authentication issue was also fixed. Ivanti also patched a medium-severity path traversal vulnerability in Docs at Work for Android, which could allow malicious apps to read sensitive data. Ivanti reports no known public exploitation of these vulnerabilities. The cybercrime group Fin7 is advertising a security evasion tool, AV Neutralizer, on underground forums, according to cybersecurity firm SentinelOne. This tool can bypass security solutions and has been used by various ransomware groups, including AvosLocker, MedusaLocker, BlackCat, Trigona, and Lockbit. SentinelOne researchers discovered a new version of AV Neutralizer that uses the Windows driver proclaunchmon.sys to evade security measures. Fin7 uses multiple pseudonyms to mask their identity, with advertisements for the tool appearing on forums such as exploit.in, xss.is, and ramp, with prices ranging from $4,000 to $15,000. The tool has advanced capabilities to disable endpoint security solutions through various techniques, including leveraging a previously undocumented Windows driver capability. SentinelOne highlights Fin7's adaptability and persistence in evolving its threat operations. Indian crypto exchange WazirX confirmed a security breach, with $230 million in assets suspiciously transferred from one of its multi-sig wallets. This type of wallet requires multiple keys for authentication. Affected assets include SHIB, Ethereum, Matic, Pepe, USDT, and Gala tokens. Blockchain data indicates the attackers are offloading assets on Uniswap, and they may be affiliated with North Korea. Liminal, the wallet infrastructure provider, stated that the breach occurred outside its ecosystem. Other Indian crypto exchanges, CoinSwitch and CoinDCX, assured customers of their security. This incident follows WazirX's separation from Binance earlier this year. The Wiz research team found significant vulnerabilities on multiple AI service providers, focusing on tenant isolation issues. Their latest research on SAP AI Core, presented at the Black Hat conference, uncovered a vulnerability chain named SA Pwned. This allowed attackers to access sensitive customer data, including cloud credentials for AWS, Azure, and SAP HANA, by exploiting SAP's infrastructure. Attackers could execute arbitrary code, move laterally, and gain cluster administrator privileges, compromising Docker images and artifacts. Key vulnerabilities included bypassing network restrictions, accessing AWS tokens, exploiting unauthenticated EFS shares, and Helm servers. All issues were reported to and fixed by SAP with no customer data compromised. The research highlights the need for improved isolation and sandboxing standards in AI infrastructure to protect against such attacks. Scott Raul Esparza, age 24, from Katy, Texas, along with co-conspirator Shamar Shattuck, age 21, from Margate, Florida, operated astrostress.com, a DDoS-as-a-service website. The platform allowed users to launch DDoS attacks, overloading and disrupting victims' devices and networks. Esparza and Shattuck ran the site from 2019 to 2022, offering subscriptions for varying levels of attack power. They used infected devices to create botnets, which were then directed to overwhelm targets' IP addresses. The Department of Justice stated that Esparza managed the attack servers and marketing while also employing a customer service representative. After the sites shut down in 2022, both men were apprehended. Esparza faces 9 months in prison, while Shattuck awaits sentencing and could face up to 5 years. Coming up after the break, my conversation with Tomislav Pericin, founder and chief software architect at ReversingLabs. He joins us to discuss their free resource to conduct risk assessments on open source software. Stay with us. When it comes to ensuring your company has top-notch security practices, things can get complicated fast. Vanta automates compliance for SOC 2, ISO 27001, HIPAA, and more, saving you time and money. With Vanta, you can streamline security reviews by automating questionnaires and demonstrating your security posture with a customer-facing Trust Center. Over 7,000 global companies like Atlassian, Flow Health, and Quora use Vanta to manage risk and prove security in real time. Our listeners can claim a special offer of $1,000 off Vanta at vanta.com/cyber. That's VANTA.com/cyber for $1,000 off Vanta. The IT world used to be simpler. You only had to secure and manage environments that you controlled. Then came new technologies and new ways to work. Now, employees, apps, and networks are everywhere. This means poor visibility, security gaps, and added risk. That's why Cloudflare created the first-ever connectivity cloud. Visit cloudflare.com to protect your business everywhere you do business. I recently checked in with Tomislav Pericin, founder and chief software architect of ReversingLabs. He shares the release of their free resources to conduct risk assessments on open source software.
The last couple of years, we've seen a dramatic increase in attacks, malicious code being published to open source space. Last year, we actually published a research paper which kind of summarizes the year, and we've seen a dramatic increase, 1,300% actually, if we measured that year when compared to the previous year. So this is just the volume of malicious packages being published to open source space is increasing. And we have found evidence that both nation-state actors and your common criminals are all taking part by publishing the malicious packages and trying to trick both open source developers, developers who are using open source components to build their own commercial products, into using these packages to build their own applications. And they're doing two different things. They're trying to hack, quote unquote, machines of the developers themselves so they can kind of capture credentials and install other pieces of malware. But also they are trying to be part of their build at the end of the day, be included in the software package, and then affect the end user as well.
Well, let's talk about this program. You call it Spectra Assure Community. What exactly does this entail?
Yeah, Spectra Assure Community is the free offering, as you mentioned. It is our website where anybody can go today. So if you go to secure.software, you will have in front of you a very large resource of our knowledge on open source packages. As I mentioned, there's a dramatic increase in malicious packages being published, and we've done our best to ingest all of the data from open source, primarily targeting Python repository, that would be PyPy, Node.js repository, that would be NPM, and we have Ruby gems as well. There's about 5 million or so software packages, if you don't count their versions, but 5 million individual packages that we've collected, and all of them are actually searchable. So kind of like Google, you can type in a package name and you can see all the different types of properties we track for these open source packages. Does it contain malicious code being one of the most concerning ones, but there are other properties as well. Does it contain any malicious code? Yes. Does it refer to code which has vulnerabilities? Does it leak any secrets? Those types of things. So when you're building your application, you can use this website as a resource and then select the best building blocks for your next application.
Can you walk me through a typical use case here for somebody who's out there, developing work and looking to use some open source resources? How do you suppose they're going to interact with this website?
Yeah, and this dovetails very nicely into what the attackers are doing today. We've seen lately, and this is very recent, a month or so ago, that the attackers are kind of seeding sites like Stack Overflow and even GitHub with references to their malicious packages. So basically, they would kind of open up a topic or respond to a question, proposing to the developer to just copy paste this piece of code and include it in their project. And what the code does, it actually refers to a package which supposedly solves a problem, right? So if you're in that kind of scenario and you are debating whether or not you want to use an open source package that you never heard about before and that seems newish or seems specifically tailored to that particular problem, it is best to just check it up on resources such as ours. So you just go to the website, look up the package by name, and you see what we see about it, which gives you insights into the threat categories, as I mentioned, but also lets you know if we verify the package itself. So we have quite a few threat researchers and hunters who are monitoring all of the open source for new packages being published, and they are diligently looking to label all these things before the developers have the chance to actually use them. So if it's a new package or anything like that, look it up. If we think it's malicious, we'll give you reasons why, and you'd probably want to stay away and report whoever pointed you to the malicious package as well.
So it's a bit of a reality check for folks to kind of have somebody who has your back.
Yeah, it is quite like that. Our data is pretty much in real time. So as packages are being published, our team is using our automated tools, which include, 17 or so different threat detection engines and machine learning and heuristics and all those things, but also humans are part of the loop. There is a specific label that we attach to every single package that we've manually vetted and said, yes, this is real, this is actually malicious. And I think the best part about it is that the website doesn't forget. Even if a package is now popular and trustworthy, and there are cases where this has happened, and you can actually see that on our website too, like top 100s in a community. They have had malicious incidents in the past where accounts were compromised and malicious code was published. That also is a good data point that they probably, and in all of the cases, they have cleaned up their acts, but there are all these, historical versions that you definitely don't want to use. So even if you're using something trustworthy, you need to check that you're actually using the latest version and that you're using the safe version as well.
You refer to this as a community. What is in place here to encourage that sense of community building? Is there any interaction? Can folks make requests to the ReversingLabs team? How much is this an active, growing effort?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So first this is a brand new website, to be perfectly clear. We've started with this idea of we want to build a community here. What we've done on our end to start with is to publish all of our data to OpenSSF, which is the security foundation which takes care of, monitoring of security issues in open source space. So all of our data, as soon as we get it, is published to OpenSSF. So if you're part of the open source community, you can leverage that data to kind of even automatically check whether or not you're pulling in packages that are malicious or not. Very soon, we will have additional programs where developers will be able to interact more with our platform. So basically sending us data, using our tools to scan things, and so on and so forth. All of that's going to be announced very soon, so I don't want to spoil things for anybody, especially not get in trouble. But we do think about this as a community, and we are generally here to help the community because so much of the tools that we use and the tools that are used to build software are basically free and open source. We feel it's the right way to go about it, to help secure people who are really, spending their time and energy and resources to build something that anybody can use for free, and just, help them do that in the as safe way as possible.
That's Tomislav Pericin from ReversingLabs. We'll have a link to their free resources to conduct risk assessments on open source software in the show notes. Most of our listeners who deal with legacy privileged access management products know they tend to be expensive, difficult to deploy, and hard to use. Keeper Security is the answer. Keeper's Zero Trust solution delivers password, secrets, and connection management in one easy-to-use platform. It's fast to deploy, agentless, clientless, and has no implementation fees. Plus, Keeper is FedRAMP authorized. That's why we trust Keeper to prevent breaches and gain full control over privileged users. Visit keeper.io/cyberwire to schedule a quick demo. That's keeper.io/cyberwire. And thanks to Keeper Security for supporting our podcast. And finally, Andrew Lemon, a researcher at Red Threat, discovered a flaw in the Intel Lite X1 traffic light controller that could let hackers create chaotic traffic jams. Lemon found that the device's web interface had no authentication. "I was just in disbelief," Lemon told TechCrunch. Despite trying, he couldn't pull off a full Italian job scenario, thanks to a device called the Malfunction Management Unit. However, he could still mess with light timings, causing major traffic headaches. Lemon found about 30 vulnerable devices online and reported the issue to Q-Free, Intel Lite's owner. Instead of thanks, Q-Free sent a legal letter implying Lemon's research might violate anti-hacking laws and urging him not to publish his findings for national security reasons. Lemon also noted similar issues in Econolite traffic controllers, which Econolite claimed were outdated and shouldn't be online anyway. Nothing says thanks for the heads up like a good old-fashioned legal threat. And that's the CyberWire. For links to all of today's stories, check out our daily briefing at thecyberwire.com. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out the survey in the show notes or send an email to cyberwire@n2k.com. We're privileged that N2K CyberWire is part of the daily routine of the most influential leaders and operators in the public and private sector, from the Fortune 500 to many of the world's preeminent intelligence and law enforcement agencies. N2K makes it easy for companies to optimize your biggest investment, your people. We make you smarter about your teams while making your teams smarter. Learn how at n2k.com. This episode was produced by Liz Stokes. Our mixer is Trey Hester, with original music and sound design by Elliot Peltzman. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. Our executive editor is Brandon Karp. Simone Petrella is our president, Peter Kilpie is our publisher, and I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow. This September 18th and 19th in Denver, a tight community of leading experts is gathering to tackle the toughest cybersecurity challenges we face. It's happening at MWise, the unique conference built by practitioners for practitioners. Brought to you by Mandiant, now part of Google Cloud, MWise features one-to-one access with industry experts and fresh insights into the topics that matter most, right now, to frontline practitioners. Register early and save at mwise.io/cyberwire. That's mwise.io/cyberwire.